Planning out your very own adventure ride can be a bit of a daunting task. There's a lot of things to think about to make sure your adventures are enjoyable and that they go as smoothly as possible. Now, not every adventure ride is perfect, of course, but putting in that little bit of extra effort when it comes to planning could be what makes or breaks your trip. So in this video, I'm going to run through ways to help when it comes to choosing the right destinations and routes, packing the essentials for the trip, and ways to maximize your enjoyment while out on your adventures. So stick around for these tips to make sure you're not stranded on the trails somewhere one day, wishing that you spent a little bit more time planning out your adventure. Now, first things first, when you're planning your adventure ride, you're going to have to choose a destination. Where do you want to get to? Where do you want to ride? Now, a few things to consider when choosing your destination. Firstly, what's your experience level like and what type of riding do you mostly want to do along the way? Are you looking for a mostly off-road adventure, or are you just looking for something a little bit more relaxed and just stick to some bitumen roads? Or maybe you want something in the middle with a little bit of both. Mix in with that your experience level and use that to help pick out the area that you want to travel to and the tracks that you'd like to take along the way. Once you've chosen the type of ride or adventure you want to go on, it's time to start looking into popular destinations, scenic routes, or popular tracks in the area that you've chosen. A couple of good resources that I would suggest are Google and Google Maps. You'll be surprised what you can find with a quick Google search of popular adventure rides in certain areas, and Google Maps is a really good way to help start planning out your route. Another handy tip would be to join some local adventure riding Facebook groups in your area. Most areas will have a core group of locals organising and heading out for group rides every few weeks, and all these people are more than happy for new people to tag along on their rides. A lot of groups also share GPX files on their accounts for members to use, so make sure you check all of those out and utilise those. Now lastly, when it comes to choosing your destination, make sure that you check the weather conditions in the area you've chosen to ride in before you set off. This will help you with decisions around what gear you'll need to pack and wear along the ride, as well as whether you want to freeze yourself camping in the cold or go and book yourself a nice hotel or pub stay. Also check for any road closures in the area. Nothing worse than having to backtrack or reassess your route on the fly due to a closed road or track. So now you've chosen your destination, you know where you want to get to, it's time to start planning out your route. Now, modern technology is a great thing when it comes to your route planning. There are many various apps that you can download and use to help with this process. Apps like Gaia Maps and the Garmin Explore app are a very good place to start. For example, you can combine these with Google Maps and even the Wikicamps app to help with picking out camp spots or points of interest along the way. So be sure to utilize apps like this when you start planning out your route. Remember to factor in things like rest stops, petrol stations, and your points of interest as you plan your route. Figure out the lowest fuel range in your group and then work from that for your fuel stops so you know what distance you can cover between each stop. Make sure you break down your journey into manageable daily stages for those rest stops. Be sure to pick distances for each day that are manageable for everyone in the group. You'll obviously cover more ground with a more experienced group of riders, but also keep in mind what kind of tracks and trails you'll be riding on. You won't knock over as many kilometres on a tougher off-road ride versus an easy outback trip. Also, the amount of riders in the group generally means a longer time to get everything done, always waiting around on someone in a larger group. So now it's time to start looking into packing for this adventure. Be sure to pack light, but bring all of the necessary riding gear. Keep your setup as simple as possible, only bringing the necessities. Packing any extra unneeded gear will only get in the way and it's going to weigh you down out on the trails. Be sure to include tools, repair kits, and emergency supplies. You're not going to want to forget any of these key items, and this is especially important for those remote travel adventures. Now, if you're in a group ride, maybe look at getting each rider to carry a specific tool or be in charge of a certain item needed around camp. This will help with everyone packing as light as possible, making sure everyone doesn't double up on the same items. Now, you would have already, of course, researched the weather to come in your chosen destination, so consider layering your clothing for changing weather conditions along the way. Layering your clothing and riding gear is a great way to plan ahead for all of those weather conditions to come, and in my opinion, it's a much better option than those adventure jackets that come with all of those removable layers. You can have your protective armour underneath, maybe a thermal layer under that if you're heading into super cold conditions, a riding shirt and an off-road water repellent jacket for the outer layer, and then keep a separate jacket in your luggage for conditions that get even colder again. That's just a few options, but obviously you're going to have to change it up depending on the weather in the area you're looking at riding in. So now you're all packed, you've got your destination and your route sorted. Let's look at a few tips to make your ride go as smooth as possible. Be sure to keep hydrated along the ride and take regular breaks along the way as well, especially in those hot and tough riding conditions to avoid cramps and heat stroke. There's nothing worse than getting cramps while you're out on the tracks. Always be on the lookout for road hazards like washouts and slippery sections, and be sure not to cut corners when off-road as well. You never know when a vehicle is coming the other way. I almost learnt this one the hard way a little while ago, so be as safe as possible out there on the tracks. Also remember that adventure riding isn't a race. Getting to the destination in one piece is way more important than getting there quick. Be sure to slow things down, add a spare day or two into the trip so you can enjoy the ride, stop and soak it all in just a little bit longer. In the end, adventure riding is meant to be fun, so it's all about maximising your enjoyment while out on those adventures. Embrace the unexpected and be flexible with your plans. Some of the best adventure rides are the ones that bring out unexpected circumstances, and how you deal with those can make or break your trip. Have a loose plan for each day that is a little bit flexible as well. Maybe someone gets a flat tyre, so you'll have to skip the next hard section of track to make up the time. Or maybe the distance you've chosen for the day is turning out to take a little bit longer than expected, so you might need to pull up for camp somewhere else and stop a little bit earlier. Try and connect with other riders and share your experiences along the way as well. The adventure riding community is an amazingly friendly bunch, so be sure to jump onto group forums everywhere you can, share all your experiences, and maybe you'll give someone else some tips for their next adventure. So be sure to take plenty of photos or videos as memories from your trip. Try and get some group photos with everyone as well if you're in a group ride. I'm guilty of coming back from my adventures with nothing but pictures of my bike, so don't be that guy if possible. Now this is the most important tip of all. Just relax and enjoy the ride. If you've planned everything correctly, it won't matter what situation arises, you'll be able to deal with it and continue on your adventure. Try not to get too wrapped up in the what ifs, what could go wrong, what'll I do if this happens. Just try and forget all of that, put it to the back of your mind, and just enjoy the adventure. So that's it with my list of tips for planning the ultimate adventure ride. What do you all think? Are these some handy tips? What tips do you think I've missed? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to read all of them. So as always, a massive thank you for watching. Like the video if you did enjoy it and you did get something out of this. And be sure to subscribe to the channel before you go for more adventure riding content just like this. Also check the links down below in the video's description on ways to support the channel and to get yourself some GPX files to head out on your own adventures with some of the planning already done. Ride safe on your own two-wheel adventures. I'll see you all soon.